So now we're here with Dave Kitchen, aka SocrDave, one of the best fantasy sports players of our current generation. Dave, thank you so much for being on with us. And my first question is, how did you even get into fantasy sports?
I got into fantasy sports in 1999, and it was a season-long NBA league. And I thought the concept at that time was pretty cool. And I was still in high school, but I got my high school basketball team to kind of join in. And ever since then, that same group has kind of been a part of our little fantasy community, so to speak.
Great story.
Yeah, no,
Like
really
that.
good. Yeah.
That's nice.
And now look at him,
Hmm.
a star. And Dave, so in terms of fantasy sports, which one do you like better? Do you like football, baseball, or basketball?
I think fantasy football is my favorite, but fantasy basketball is daily fantasy basketball is what I am best at because with fantasy football and fantasy baseball, there's these big events like home runs and touchdowns, all this stuff, and with basketball it's more predictable. I mean, it's going to take a lot for a player who's like a superstar just to have only score 2 points. So there's a lot more variance in the other sports. So I think daily fantasy basketball is what I excel at. As far as what I enjoy cheering for the most, it definitely would be fantasy football.
How about fantasy NASCAR or fantasy golf?
No, and I am in the South, so they're probably going to disown me that I've never played fantasy NASCAR, but I'm not a NASCAR fan, and I have never played a fantasy golf game at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who knew?
No one really knows about fantasy golf or NASCAR. It's no fun.
Maybe in Europe.
Europe, maybe that's where they do it.
Mm.
Yeah, I hear they like the going in left there. They go.
That's good.
Yeah, thanks. So for Derek here, who's kind of a newbie to this whole fantasy sports game, what kind of tips do you have for him?
Tips I would have for someone who's new to fantasy sports is just take the time to do your research. If you don't put in the research, the chances are that you're not going to have a good outcome. If you find the necessary tools, if you find basically the experts out there that are going to give you some picks, that would be kind of the first step. And the second step would be just to kind of know your limits and don't be jumping in to a $109 head to head with some pro right away. Start small and work your way up till you feel comfortable.
Well, Dave, thanks so much for joining us today. Like we said before, you're one of the kings of fantasy sports right now. We wish you all the best success, and thank you so much for joining us.
Bye.
See ya.